Alright everybody, welcome to my channel. Dave Ganderils here. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, click the little bell, like the video, share the video, share this with others that you know that might have interest in the content. This is a wealth portfolio of what I'm using to generate streams of income. Check out some of my other videos in case you have interest in some of the other topics I talk about and opportunities I'm in. As you can see, I just put out a Cardano update. So you just got to go in and change the charts as price action changes. So continuously monitor the charts and update as appropriate as you see things changing in the structure. So anyway, I wanted to do more than one in a video, but it went a little longer and I didn't want to make the video very long. So we're going to see how this one goes. I might do more than one, but if I can get it done pretty quickly, but if there's enough to talk about, I'll do independent videos. So we're going to move right in. Again, just consider subscribing to my channel if you like the content and if you'd like to follow and get some more information related to ways to create the wealth for yourself. All right, so this is Ethereum. We've seen some action here. This is something we've been watching. It's been staying in this pattern for a while. It's been staying in this pitchfork pattern that we put on the chart. And just recently we've broken out of it. Although volume is a little higher than normal, it's not obsessively high, so we still have to be careful and check to make sure that it's a true breakout. It did get past the previous pivot here, which is always good. A lot of people play the breakouts from pivots, so we just have to see how price action reacts here. We can see if you got into this trade already, your stop loss should be somewhere here. And, again, the first typical target, you can see there's an algo target up here, and there's also this green zone right here, which links to the previous all-time high. As price action comes up here, you're going to see some resistance. So, smart money might consider taking some money off the table. Now, I'm going to clean up this chart a little bit so that I could show you something else that's developing on the daily chart. Let me just clean up some of my windows here. So there's a bearish pattern showing up, but it doesn't mean that it means that Ethereum itself is going to be bearish. Prices go up, prices come down. So you got to be ready for the different moves. So I'm going to clean up this a little bit so it's a little easier to see. Just refer back to my previous video if you want to see this, but the green zones will stay here. I just wanted to kind of show you how, when you're moving your stop loss higher, you're kind of locking in some guaranteed profits as the trade plays out. So just refer back to one of my last Ether video, and you could see my discussion on these drawings that I put here. So we'll leave the green zones because those are still price targets based on Fibonacci extensions, Elliott wave, and other technical techniques. But in order to kind of show you what's going on here, it's easier if the chart is a little cleaner. So, all right. So with that being said, let's move up to the daily. And I just want to show you a pattern that's showing up on the daily that you might want to consider, just if nothing else, tracking it to show, to see where price action can go. So this is considered a bat pattern, and unfortunately it is a bearish pattern, but that doesn't mean it has to be bearish for Ethereum. What am I doing here? Did that wrong. All right, so I could probably hide this one temporarily. Yeah, let me hide this. Let's just talk about the bat patterns itself for now. I can hide the Elliott wave as well. All right, so that makes it a little bit clearer. I can get, this is the Well, this is still in play. Let's just move this over here. Okay. And I'll hide this as well, just to get this stuff cleaned up. All right, so this is the bat pattern that appeared on the daily. With daily time, like I mentioned in other videos, the higher the time frame, the patterns and the things you see on the charts are more probable to be played out. So it takes away the noise. You know, all the noise that we normally see at the lower time frames are just wicks on the daily. So you kind of see what really the open and closes of the daily of the price action is, and you get a kind of cleaner picture to do. Is like some, you know, once you do the analysis on this time frame, you can go down to a lower time frame and use it. Now you don't want to go too low. I mean, typically if you're doing something on the daily and maybe the 4 hour and the 1 hour, you don't want to go down to 15 minute, because that's a whole different, you know, it gets a lot more chaotic and it doesn't really abide by the higher time frame patterns. So once you have this bat pattern on here, what you do is, like we've done in the past, you could throw some pitchforks on there. So you could, you know, just hit the handle down there and just take this first pivot. Now you just kind of work with the price action that's currently in play, and you kind of try to line up as many touch points, you know, at least at this pivot and maybe the first line here. So this is kind of like a trend line, you know, but these are Fibonacci levels built into this pitchfork. So for now, this is really all you can do here, because you only have one touch point, and you can kind of see how it kind of respected. You know, you can kind of tweak this a little bit, but you can see how it kind of respected there. It wicked up and came down, touched there, you know, touched there, it touched there, it went through there a little bit. Here it didn't really respect anything. It kind of just went sideways. And then what you do is you put the next one on. The next one is, so there's XA is the first pivot, you know, pivot high to low. And then there's another one here. So you do C to D. So the next one, you know, you usually go from X, and then you do CD. Now, you know, that's a very negative one, but it's something that could actually play out. You could even consider this a whole pivot and bring this even down to here. But, you know, that's a drastic move. So I would say, based on this bat pattern, I would say maybe this pattern would be more realistic as the one that's going to be in play for this pattern. You know, so there are some negative targets. So let me just get rid of this one, because it's kind of, right now this is the one that's really kind of dictated by price action. You know, we're staying in here in this channel. And we all hope that it's going to just stay in this channel and work its way up to these targets that we have here, you know, based on these other patterns that we had on the chart. So is this a way of kind of seeing how price can progress, you know, up and down? And it's just used for a possible roadmap. And, you know, what you got to do next is, sorry, I had to take care of a message over there. So this is just another way of, you know, kind of laying out where price action go and maybe a channel it might follow. So when you start bringing back in the object tree and some of the, like the triangle pattern that we had here, you know, with this target from here, maybe we can kind of figure out where, you know, where this might go. I mentioned earlier, you know, when you move off a pivot by 15%, there's an 80% chance that it's going to hit this median line. So depending on how price action goes, if it continued going pretty quick, you know, on the daily in today, if it hits it today, then maybe this previous all-time high could be hit. Now, like I said earlier, we can go down to lower time frames. Once we have the pattern that was on the higher time frame, we could come down to lower time frames and really start seeing what price action is doing. You know, so on the lower time frame, you could start seeing that some of these lines that we drew, this pitchfork that we drew on the daily, on the lower time frames, there's wicks that are you know, respecting these lines. And there's touching wicks, you know, wicks, support, resistance, breakthrough. Now, are we gonna slowly get ourselves up to the median line? That would be the idea here. Like, so you could use the breakout from the triangle, the pitchfork that we drew on the daily, to kind of see the roadmap that price action might take up to here. And again, smart money. What do? You take some off the table when you're hitting some resistance level. So maybe up here you can consider taking some profits. Then, as price action hits the median and goes higher, we could kind of see where maybe it takes a long time to go here. Maybe it's not so quick. Maybe it goes like this and it hits the median line over here. So if it hits the median line later in time, then your second level of resistance is going to be met. So again, this is just a way to update the charts. We're having a current breakout here. The volume isn't too high, but now we could use possibly this pitchfork to see how things are going to react. And the best case scenario, if you're not in a trade, you might want to wait for it to come down and check this line here to consider it to be a solid, support line now. And if you can get it to where you're getting in and you're reacting to this pitchfork line right here, that's a perfect entry point. Because you got the support from the previous trend line, you got the pitchfork line, which is the outer bound here, which it's reacted a couple times off of. If you could plan an entry of a trade here, and it works its way up to the median line, you got a nice trade for yourself, right? You get in somewhere around here, come up here, you're talking about it. It's actually higher, depending on how long it takes to get to the median line. If it's impulse and you go straight up, you're making 26%. Now, if it takes longer, you're going to make more because of time, right? The median line is going to increase on this angle, and depending on when it finally gets to that median line, you may have made more in your trade. And don't forget what I showed you here with these yellow lines and the lines that I drew here. Continuously move up your stop loss so you don't find out that price action changes and all of a sudden you went from a profitable trade to a losing money. So we all expect, the stimulus checks to hit. We all expect, positive bullish news for Ethereum with the NFTs and the fork that's happening to make it deflationary, to make it the gas fees come down. So with all that in mind, we don't necessarily expect a negative move here, but you never know. A pivot could come in here, and now, like I mentioned earlier, if a pivot happens here, now you got another pitchfork that's now playing off that pivot. Maybe it doesn't break the all-time high, and now you got to see, on the downside, what could happen. So this is, it's not in play right now, but once you start seeing if this becomes a double top where it can't break through the all-time high and it starts coming back down, you got to check to see if it stays within the upper angled pitchfork, or if it breaks through. If it breaks through, then now you got a possible new pitchfork in play on that new pivot, wherever it might end up being, where price action could start coming back down. And like I said, anytime you leave the pivot 15 to 20%, there's a high probability that it's going to go back to the mean, whatever that mean is at the time. All right. So we're basically approaching 15 minutes again. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to stop the video just on Ethereum, push it out. That way you guys can just kind of look at the video if you're interested in Ethereum, as opposed to watching a long video again. Don't forget, please subscribe to my channel if you like the content. Check out the other videos on the channel in case you're looking for other ways to generate leads, generate streams of income, learn some more things, and just become part of the community here on this channel. Please share a comment. Let me know if there's any specific cryptos you want me to kind of look at. Again, I might not be familiar with it in terms of charting, so it might, we might be discovering the ideas real time together through our videos and come up with ideas. So again, this is another roadmap. Not really setting a trap, because you kind of broke out of this pattern. The next critical level is to see if it breaks through the all-time high. If it breaks through the all-time high, we're probably headed to the median line. And, depending on how quickly it gets there, we might get up here. This could be extended to the right here. So you know, if it takes time, trajectory, it might take all the way up to here to get there. And look, it's 2,500, and that's what a lot of people are talking about. You know, you got the pattern target, you got, depending on the time it takes to get up there, you got the median line target, you got multiple things pointing to a possible $2,500 Ethereum. Now, the initial break that you need to see here is already broke this little mini pivot, this inner pivot of this larger pivot. So that's good. So now we've created a higher high, higher low scenario. The next one to break is this all-time high. And once we get through that and we get into price discovery mode, things can happen pretty quick. And with all the hype of NFTs and all the positive news that's, you know, down the road for Ethereum, I really think that and the money coming into people's pockets to, you know, from the stimulus bill, there's going to be probably more demand than supply, and you got the big companies buying up Ethereum. Ethereum's not going anywhere. You know, there's enough money out there where I think Ethereum, Cardano, you know, they can all do very well. Now, maybe in the next cycle it'll be a different story, depending on how much, you know, Cardano has buy-in from more people and they start hitting critical mass. But I believe for this bull cycle, we're still going to see Ethereum do very well. Cardano's going to do very well. Maybe in the next cycle, maybe we could see a crossover between the two of them, but that's, you know, 2-3 years down the road. So for now, just accumulate, you know, do your trades. If you have if you're a long-term hodler, they're still talking $10,000 to $20,000 Ethereum by the end of this cycle. You know, end of year, beginning of next year, sometime in that time frame is what I'm seeing on the various YouTube channels that I follow. And I don't necessarily worry about that in the big picture. I mean, I personally think at least 5,000. At least that's probably conservative, but we got to get through the 25 first, and we got to see, you know, how Bitcoin's doing, and just, you know, when Bitcoin starts topping out and tapering out, that's typically when Ethereum takes off, and then when Ethereum does its move, then after that the altcoins start taking off. So it's usually Bitcoin first, Ethereum second, and then altcoins, and then the cycle kind of ended. So just be smart, get in and get out appropriately. Right now, it's still, you know, in my mind, it's still Bitcoin's game. Once it does its run and it gets tired and exhausted and might, you know, sideways consolidate for a while, then you're going to start seeing money move away from Bitcoin and push further into Ethereum. Then when Ethereum gets to that same level where it's going to start just kind of going sideways and petering out of the momentum, then you're going to see money flowing into alts, because people are going to continuously look for ways to make more money. So it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, alts, all right? And of course, there's always going to be other alts that are going to do well at the same time these are doing well. So, but in the big picture, historically, that's how it's played out. It's been Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then alts. And so with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got some value out of it. Look forward to having you as a subscriber. Please like, share, comment, and be part of the channel. And I'm going to be putting out another video. It's probably going to be Bitcoin. I'll probably talk about Bitcoin next. All right, take care, guys.